Latasha Ford here with Gold Derby, live again here at the NBC Universal FYC House. Today we're here with the cast, executive producer, costume designers from Bel-Air. Yes, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the hit series Bel-Air. We will be talking with leading cast members, going behind the scenes with costume designers, executive producers, and more, so be sure to stay tuned. All right, Jabari, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So first of all, I would love to hear what type of relationship do you have when it comes to basketball? Have you previously played on the high school level, the AAU level? And if you can use one word to intermix acting, basketball, and AAU, what would that one word be?
Oh my God, what a question. Okay, so yeah, I do have experience playing basketball. I played basketball in middle school and high school, JV, varsity, and AAU. And one word to mix acting and basketball together, I would say, is dream.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jabari. Thank you. Bellamy. Don't come over here. Listen, don't come over here clowning, Bill. Don't you come over here clowning. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? This is
What are you excited about?
well, to be a part of a family like this, Bel-Air is an out of the park hit, and the family, the storyline. I mean, they introduced me in season 2. So, Uncle Julius is a problem,
Yes. Tell me more about Julius. Tell me more about this competitive brother of Phil Banks you are.
Yes.
Tell me about Julius.
Well, we're the same. We're just doing it different, You got one brother who is successful this way, then you got another brother who's successful in the South, and they get together. They're really cut from the same cloth, right? Mm-hmm. Taking care of their family, very, very family oriented, but together they're competitive. They're like kids. Yeah. So if he do something, I do something. If I do something, he do something, and we all want the affection of our mom. So, which is just like every family. Yeah. So it was really fun for them to let us just have fun with the characters. It was good, and it opened up Uncle Phil, because he's always serious and smooth. We had to crack that out.
Yes, the brothers. Let's talk about this football scene, the family football scene, just a little bit that you could give me from season 2. Mm-hmm. The viewers who have yet to tap into that particular episode, tell me what is it that they can expect to see from you and Phil, Julius, and just all of the men in the family on that football field.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and if you've ever been to a cookout or a family reunion, this is it in 3D. Like, everybody is looking. You got aunties, uncles, cousins, food, potato salad, and the football game. And the football game is so silly because it's so serious. We shouldn't even be that serious. But we want, the trophy is rusty, but we want it, right? So, make a long story short, the good part about it is getting to know the brothers for real through that game. You get to see why they compete. You get to see my relationship with my son. You get to see the relationship with his son. You get to see the relationship with Will. So it's all coming together, and it's all like bravado. Yeah. So it's pretty good.
Would you say that you were kind of hard on your son a little bit when it came to like the masculinity part of who he was? Because listen, I am just saying, Carlton was definitely like empathetic towards him.
Yeah. No, Uncle Julius is tough. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that there's a lot of dads like Uncle Julius, right? But they don't know they're tough. They just want things done. They're so used to like overcompensating. So I can't afford for my son not to be me. You know what I mean? He's junior, like he's a little baby. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little too tough on him. But if they didn't see it, there's a really nice moment for us.
It is a deep moment. So let me take a different direction with you, Bill. You have to date been a part of 56 plus projects over the duration of your career, right? You have received numerous award nominations. Of course, you are an award-winning comedian and actor. Okay, round of applause. I toot your horn for that. Hey, you see the dance? You see the bop? Tell me, what would an Emmy Award mean for you for this particular Bel-Air series, and just you as Julius?
Wow. It would mean a lot to me because, I gave everything I had into the role because I knew Uncle Julius. Like, you know, I grew up in that family, a very similar Southern family, you know, and I felt like I just knew who he was and how he I just kind of immersed myself into him. And I didn't know people were going to love it like that. Like, it's just funny. Like, you know, people are like, oh, my God, Bill, you was good. Oh, I loved you. I loved you with Julius. Please come back. You made Uncle Phil laugh. So it would mean a lot, actually. It would really mean a lot, you know. You never know where you're going to get your flowers. So when you get some, you just got to smell them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Where can we expect to see you next? If I'm not mistaken, you're currently working on a project. Listen, do not push me down if I get this incorrect, but Back in the City, I believe, is the name of the project.
Back to the Strip.
Back to the Strip.
Comedy film. It'll be out in August. Okay. And then now my book is out, my memoir, Top Billing. That is everywhere, guys. Everywhere. Make sure you get it. Make sure we are number one on bestseller on Amazon right now for new authors. Holy cow! That's crazy. And then my top billing, my podcast is fun. So you can listen to me every week.
And before I let you go, who is the one individual that you have yet to work on a big project with that you truly desire to get on the screen with or to take things behind the scene as a producer or a writer? Who is that one person?
I want to work with Denzel Washington. Yeah. I want to work with Denzel. He's like my idol, you know, the guy that I look up to on his pedigree, his longevity, his choices in movies and projects and stuff like that, from theater back to screen back to theater. So I just like Mr. Washington. I want to meet him and work with him. That would be like, oh my God.
It's coming. Bill, it was such a pleasure chatting with you and meeting with you. And to answer your question, I'm Tasha. Tasha with Gold Derby.
What's up, Tasha?
Well, hello, Miss Coco. How are you today?
How are you today, beautiful?
I'm good. Oh wait, am I holding it or no? I didn't know that. I thought you were handing it to me. No. That's not what you meant. That's not what your intention was. So I'm gonna.
You hold the mic.
Is it me? I'm holding it. All right. I'll reiterate.
So first of all, congratulations on the season 3. How ecstatic are you?
Oh, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what Hillary does. All I know is everywhere I go, they're pressing me about her relationship choices, so I'm just ready for them to get over it.
I love that you mentioned the relationship choices because, honey, we are definitely about to talk about it in real life. In real life, Coco. Listen, I am all for jazz. I love jazz. I always have.
Okay.
I can appreciate your respect, your empathy, your compassion.
Yes, all of the therapy words.
But in real life, would you choose jazz over your ex-NFL boo, LaMarcus? Be honest, Coco.
Okay, so you're bringing it in hot. I feel as though it depends on where I'm at. There was a stage of life where I was the me that cared about what things really looked like and what they gave to the world. And then there was the me that I am now that's more like, what's my happiness giving? I don't really care how many likes this gets. So I feel like the me that I am right now, I would go with jazz because life is too hard to not have somebody that you really, trust and care for that can also help you grow and be your mirror, show you the good and the bad of you to help you become a better person. LaMarcus he's the cute vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I could definitely catch the BJ, but I feel like for the long term and for my real genuine happiness, it would be someone like Jazz.
All right, so let's talk about the dynamic of your relationship with Ivy.
Oh, Miss Ivy, Miss Carucho. You saw that, Caruch.
Look, what is the deal with you and Ivy? Because I've seen a lot between the dynamic of your relationship with her. And I love that with the Simply Spike deal, you were like, you know what, I'm putting my foot down and I am taking charge of things my way. Tell the viewers, for those individuals who have yet to tap into the series, what is it that they can expect to see when it comes to your relationship with Ivy?
It's definitely a head honcho, baddest be in charge type of debate. And I feel like that's a very real situation. I think there's always like that one friend that you are like, kind of competing with in a sense, but you still love them. And so I feel like I love that dynamic because it's very relatable. I think as a woman too, I think especially in this day and age, we really tie a lot of our self-worth to our accolades. And so for us, it's like giving away my power struggle also gives away some of my worth, which isn't fair, it isn't right, and isn't healthy, but that's kind of like the
the inner struggle that we're dealing with, I think, today as powerful women, as bosses. And so I like that dynamic because it's really honest, and I think too it has so many different layers. Like, you know, Ivy is like, of course, beautiful and light skinned. I'm Hillary, I'm dark skinned. So it's just a lot of different layers there. But I think overall, in general, I think it comes back to our mindsets as women. If we have an abundance mindset, Ivy has no issue bringing in somebody new who has new ideas, and I would have no issue, you know, learning from somebody who's been there and done that and who can teach me, who I did initially look up to. So I think there's a lot of layers to it, but it's definitely a little catty.
Yes, very, very catty. I want to pivot back to you mentioning accolades, right? Because obviously we're here for FYC Emmys. Mm-hmm. The Emmys are upon us.
Yes, upon.
I would love to hear your perspective when it comes to awards, right? Do you feel like awards hold any weight when it comes to your success being on the screen?
I would say absolutely. Awards to me are kind of recognition for your work and for your efforts. And I think even with Bel-Air, down to the lighting, there's so much effort and so much intention to make a show that can be successful with an all-black cast that's not one specific shade. I think, to me, it talks a lot about what we as a world recognize as well done, and it pushes the narrative forward for other shows that can, you know, hire amazing black creatives like my creative designer who had Hillary looking amazing. I mean, she needed that opportunity. We needed someone like Morgan Cooper to create a show like that. So I think awards, of course, have their superficial meaning. Of course, it's a great little trophy, but I think in the deeper subtext, it's acknowledgement of what is successful and what should continue. And I would love for all of the awards to say, yes, Bel-Air is a great show with an amazing black cast, an amazing black crew, and we should continue to support shows like this and do more of that.
Absolutely. And let's be clear, you are such a multi-layered
Thank you.
star.
Thanks.
Right? You bring forth the music expertise.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find the balance between your on-screen acting career and your music career, Coco?
Balance is hard, I will say, because at the end of the day, it's two huge companies, Universal, NBC, and Def Jam, High Standards, that want all of me, and balance is hard to find. I think for me, I kind of just fit things in where they make sense, and when things overlap, it's just who came first? What came first, the egg or the chicken? But I think at the end of the day, I am really happy to have amazing partners. At the end of the day, like, they want me to be the best Hillary and they want me to be the best Coco Jones and put out the best music, and so we figure it out, you know? It's a team that helps me balance. And I think for me, I always go back to when it was nothing to balance, because there was nothing. And we'll figure it out. Keep it humble.
And before I let you go, what is it that the viewers can expect to see in you throughout season 3 that they did not get from Hillary Banks in season 1 and 2?
Well, here's the thing. I don't quite know my own self. I'm as excited as everyone watching. I definitely know from what I have mentioned to our lovely showrunner, Carla, that relationship, it's going to get settled in a way. It'll get settled. So everybody stop yelling at me for choosing LaMarcus. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, beautiful. How are you today? You look absolutely stunning, of course. Okay, so I am standing here with the new modern day Vivian Banks, right? Let's be clear. You see the twirl? This is her. She has arrived. Cassandra, you have to share with me, once you were presented with the opportunity to play via, right, the new Vivian Banks, was there any fear or intimidation, that came over you before you said yes to taking on this project?
Hi there. I love this microphone. Was there any fear? I always like to say, I grew up in the theater, and in the theater, whether you're doing Shakespeare or August Wilson, there are lots of actors who will play many roles, and so that's how I sort of approached this. And also Morgan Cooper, the creator, he said from day one that we weren't here to try to do what Janet Hubert did or Daphne Maxwell. He's like, you're here to create your own shoes. So, I can't help but think about what those women did, and I wanted to bring their grace and their warmth, and then sort of add my own thing too. But of course it's kind of intimidating because who didn't grow up Fresh Prince? I was there in real time. So I also just feel honored with the opportunity to even try it and attempt it, and that people actually received this version.
And we love the modern day version, right? But I want to pivot back to something you said, which leads me to another question that I have for you. What is one thing that you were intentional about bringing forth with being the new Vivian Banks, that somewhat kept the authenticity with Unviv, but still allow you as Cassandra, as an actor, as a star, as in all the things to shine?
Thank you for asking that. The most important thing for me is that I just wanted her to feel much more grounded with her roots. I didn't want her to feel like she's in Bel-Air and, she's not from any place else. I'm like, no, I feel like she never let go of her Philadelphia roots. And so that was the thing I really wanted. And I think you see that in the very first episode of the first season when Jabari's character, Will Smith, shows up and he has his Philly way. And she's like, yes, that's the energy we've been missing. I think if it was somebody else, she would have been like, oh, yes, that's the energy. And I was like, no, I think she has to have these moments of remember home? Let's just feel like we're home. So that when people walk into that mansion, that's overwhelming, but she should make you feel safe and at home.
Absolutely. I'm interested to hear your stance as it relates to awards, because clearly we're in Emmy seasons. How exciting would it be for you to receive an Emmy award, not only nomination, but an Emmy award win? For your character role as Vivian, right? And obviously for this series that has just landed a season 3.
Right. It would mean so much. I mean, it's the funny thing about awards. It's like, I always like to say, the reward is to get to do something as expansive as Aunt Viv. I love that Aunt Viv starts off one way and she ends another. She's like truly a flower still in bloom. Really, she is trying to become this new idea of herself, and it's very difficult for her. So it would mean to me, it would sort of be like a congratulations for the 20 years of my career, and it would be like the cherry on top of thank you for staying here and thank you for committing to this. And I think Bel-Air is such a vision of love that I think it unifies so many people. So I think this show would be deserving of an award. And I just hope enough people really watch it and take it in, because from the first episode to the last, I feel like it's like a warm balm for the soul. And I think in a way that's revolutionary, because it's not about bang, bang, shoot 'em up. It's more about forgiveness and evolution and who are you really when no one's looking.
And what would you say makes this particular Bel-Air series unique and different from the original version of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? What makes this series so unique and different?
There's so many reasons why this show is so unique and different. I like to say the original show was sort of like, the cocktail party of getting to know people. It's sort of like the public persona. And this version is to see who are there in their private lives and who are there in their secret lives. And I just think something about that is just so expansive and beautiful. And I think that's why people love this version so much, But I think that's the biggest version. I think the comedy one had to be more public and more easy. And I think this is very complicated and challenging. And I think people love it. I mean, at the end of every episode, people talk about how this affects them in their life and their relationships and their parenting and what it means to grow up. So it's very different than the original, but I think we still are all about the hip hop. We're still about using vernacular of these people and really looking at class structure throughout somebody who looks like me,
And before I let you go, what is one struggle, or let me rephrase that, do you find it difficult or challenging to balance your acting career and being a parent? Is that a struggle area for you? And if so, how do you manage to find your way through it, especially over the duration of 20 years?
Honey, it is hard, okay? Yes, I have a 4-year-old, and I live in New York, actually. So my life is very bi-coastal. The thing that makes it easy for me is that I constantly tell my son how lucky he is. So if you ask my son right now what coast does he love, he's like, I love both coasts. What are you talking about? And he's like, my mom, she's on Viv. So I try to make life look like it's a celebration and that he's a part of the process. But I'm just so lucky that I have a great community of people who help me. So to be a mom is to constantly have mom guilt. But what I know for certain is that I am who I am because of who my mother is. business. And my mother owned her own business for 40 years. And not once do I ever remember thinking, why is my mother not home? No, I grew up thinking, oh, I can be an entrepreneur. Oh, this is how you make finances work. Oh, and you can be beautiful, and you can buy this house. Like, my mom did so many things. And I know that's my son. And the little bit of my career that my son has seen already, he has told me that he's proud of me. And so to have a 3-year-old tell you, Mom, I'm so proud of you, and he keeps becoming more and more of that man, I think it's amazing, because you can't be all things for all people, but you can be truthful. And that's all I am with my son. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry I missed bedtime, but tomorrow let's do this. Oh, here's a video of mommy talking. You know, we do the things in between to make parenthood sort of work in the midst of such an amazing career.
And I can ask you a billion more questions, but I am going to let you go on that because that was such an excellent response. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the season 3, and I look forward to seeing so much more of you and the entire cast. Thank you.
What kind questions, my friend? Thank you so much.
Carlton Banks,
What's up? How's it going?
how are you?
I'm fantastic. It's a good day. It's a good day. The weather's a little cloudy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm used to sunny LA, but like it's a good day. No complaints.
Take me back. How did this role, right? Because you had such huge shoes to fill, you know, stepping into the role as the Carlton Banks, the modern day Carlton Banks. Like, take me back to when this opportunity and this role was presented to you. First of all, where were you? What was your response? What came over your mind? Like, I want to dig into your emotions a little bit.
I was in my apartment in Culver City. I'll never forget it. Actually, so I was in my apartment in Culver City, and then I went to work. And I remember the email came in, and it was like, oh, you know, Bel-Air, Carlton Banks. And I was like, no. I remember I called my agent, and I was like, is it Alfonso did it? Respectfully, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Because I thought that it was going to be a comedy, right? And, you know, I didn't know. And I read further into the email, and in big bright letters, it said, this is not the sitcom. Don't do what Alfonso did. Do your own thing. And I think reading that sort of gave me the freedom to just, you know, do what I wanted to with it. And I don't know, it's been a really, really cool 2-year journey. And I found a lot of beautiful nuances to Carlton's character that I'm glad that I've been able to bring out.
I want to talk about some of maybe the challenges that you face taking on this role, right? Because this new modern day Carlton is somewhat obviously different, right? Listen, just so many layers, right? A little bit more complex, you know, particularly when it comes to the dynamic of your friendships, you know, in high school, the drug addiction problem. And Carlton, what happened to your orange sports car? You have to tell me what happened.
They found it. Remember, Jeffrey found it.
But what happened?
That's a question that I think even Carlton doesn't know. I'm not going to lie to you. Connor says something. Connor was like, yeah, we drove into the Palisades. Carlton has no idea. Carlton has not a clue.
So what are some of the challenges that you face managing, you know, keeping the authenticity with the old school Carlton Banks mixed with, you know, the Carlton that you are right now?
I think, honestly, the hardest thing, because Alfonso's performance was so iconic and just so unforgettable, the hardest thing is forgetting that, right? Is taking that, putting that in the back of my mind, and then just doing my own thing with it. You know, there's obviously the fear when you're doing something like this of, I hope people like it, I hope, you know, it's received well, but at the end of the day, you just kind of have to put the blinders on and do the thing that you do and trust the, you know, artists and collaborators around you. And yeah, I mean, the reactions in the beginning of season 1 were strong. You know, there were definitely a lot of strong reactions, but I remember, and I said it, and now I can say that I told y'all so. I told y'all so, because at the beginning everyone was like, who's this Carlton? And I was like, watch, y'all gonna fall in love with him. And guess where we are right now? I'm not saying I was right, but I was right.
He was right. What is next for you outside of season 3? Are you currently working on or soon to tap into any other projects, or is everything just solely focused on just knocking out the season 3 of Bel-Air, right?
Well, nothing that I'm allowed to talk about yet. But what I can say is pretty much when I'm not filming the show, I'm just in my studio all the time. I'm a musician, I'm a producer, a singer. Yeah, so pretty much if I'm not on the Bel-Air set, or if I'm not on another set that I'm not allowed to talk about, I'm just in the studio, like, working. You know, I'm an artist, and one of the coolest things I've been afforded with the show is the ability to just, make art in however way I see fit through whatever medium that I see fit, and it's been a blessing.
And before I let you go, were you passionate about that protest episode at all? Or was this all about the girl you were crushing on? Did you have any passion in it? Let's be real.
Is it Carlton or Ollie?
Carlton.
I think...
Because I feel like Ollie, you definitely hands down passionate about the protest.
I think that at the end of the day, yeah, the girl was involved, but I think Carlton wants to do the right thing. He's trying so desperately to find his own path to doing the right thing. So absolutely, I think he was passionate about it. But sometimes, sometimes we get in our own way, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right, Ollie. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. I absolutely am obsessed with your suit, okay? Thank you so much, and congratulations on the season 3. I'm going to keep my eyes out for you. Thank you. Ollie, how are you?
I'm good. Am I in the right spot?
You are in the right spot. I am just loving all of these looks today. Your suit is absolutely phenomenal. So, of course, you played the role of Jeffrey. I want to go a little personal with you, Jimmy. Who is Jimmy? Off the screen, outside of the shoes of Jeffrey the butler.
Yeah, Jimmy off screen is British-born Nigerian. You know what I mean? I'm not Jamaican, but I grew up with a lot of Jamaican friends in East London. I'm a big football man, soccer fan for you Americans. Liverpool's my team. I fell into acting. I wanted to be a soccer player first, but I've always loved comedy, actually, I always grew up watching people like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, your Chris Rocks and, and stuff like that. And so also Bel-Air, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a family iconic, funny show that the whole family would watch. So I'm that guy basically that was just a normal kid, went to normal school, didn't go to art school, but basically enjoyed making people laugh and pretending to be people, and then realized that could be a career. I'm a big advocate for diversity inclusion in our industry, in front of the camera, but even more so behind the camera. I have a production company in the UK called Trifles Creative Network Productions. I host a game show about Black history in the UK as well, because I just feel like in terms of history, same here in the US, you only get taught a certain amount of it. In terms of where we're represented, you don't get to see it. So when you ask me the question, who am I? I'm a person that's been in this business. I do comedy, I do drama, but also I produce, and I'm also all about pushing the narrative forward and making sure that we are represented in the right way. So for me to be in Bel-Air, a show that is a show that represents Black excellence, that we are telling the story, we are pushing the boundaries in terms of we're not a monolith as Black people. You see this version of Jeffrey, he's different from the original. But
he's so different from the original. First of all, you did not have on the everyday same butler look, okay, because the looks were tailored and fly.
Oh, thank you. I got to give that to our designer Queenie. I think you've met her already. Do you know what I mean? She raised the bar season 2. I think all the outfits have just elevated the show. We're a family that are doing very, very well, so that needs to be reflected in terms of how we dress. But for me, being a Brit, Jeffrey would have bought all his stuff from Savile Row, and it would be a different kind of cut. Then you've got the Caribbean influences to how he dresses, and so she's really captured that. And I love how the fans, they're always waiting for Jeffrey's next sort of outfit, what he's wearing. But it's just a joy, even the detail in terms of how we dress. You see the artwork on the walls. You saw the episode where it was about, why they not letting us read certain books in schools and celebrating Black authors. That's the stuff for me that's really important in terms of storytelling from an authentic place.
So talk to me a little bit about what we can expect to see between a dynamic for the viewers who have yet to check out season 2, right, and check out the series. What is it that they can expect to see between the relationship that you have with your older son that you cross paths with, mid-season?
You know what? In terms of those that have not seen season 2 yet, Jeffrey's in a place where Will has triggered everybody, right? And so Will made Jeffrey think about Frederick and how Jeffrey, he's a nice guy, but he's flawed, and he wasn't there for his son. And so in season 2, you're gonna get to see how Jeffrey's going to try and maybe, fill that void, maybe try and reconnect with his son. Will he be accepted or not? We don't know. Like, I think, in past experience, I didn't grow up with my father at the beginning, and then we connected after like 10, 15 years. It takes time to bridge that gap, and I think Jeffrey's on that same journey and struggle, but he's leaning into it. He's being vulnerable. He loves his son, and he wants to make up for lost time. It's just whether, Frederick can sort of meet him halfway.
It's interesting to hear that you somewhat experienced that in your real life. Before I let you go, in what ways do you feel like fathers, particularly black fathers, can relate to this series and the dynamic, or the lack thereof of you and Frederick's relationship?
You know what? I think in terms of black fathers, I think across the board, one thing I've noticed in that show, we are constantly telling our young men in the show that we love them. We're constantly showing black male vulnerability and love, not just words, with hugs, with touch. That's a rare thing these days. And I think with Jeffrey's storyline, it shows you that, look, there can be a stigma in terms sometimes with black fathers. You know what I mean? Again, we're not everyone's the same, but no matter what's happened, there's always an opportunity to try and fix it, to go back. And I think we've shown that in season 1 and season 2.
Right. Thank you so much, Jimmy. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations on everything. Thank you. Well, beautiful. How are you? Looking straight ahead at all good. First of all, I love your outfit. Of course, you would show up and show out because you are the phenomenal costume designer behind all of these season 2 Bel-Air looks. Can we talk about it? Now, you know which character I want to start with, right? Who do I want to start with? I'm going to let you take a guess.
Is it Hillary?
You got it. Talk to me. Listen, first of all, where's Hillary's wardrobe? Can you please just give me a couple of pieces? Where did you draw up your inspiration for her entire wardrobe? Because, honey, she was giving the looks all season.
It's culture. I wanted to make sure I meshed the past shows of the seasons with my influence and give her own spin. She's a boss. She's she's in charge and she's a businesswoman. So I wanted to make sure I exuded that with her in all elements of Hillary. So.
Okay, talk to me about Jeffrey, because Jeffrey, he did not have the traditional, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air butler look at all. Listen, his suits was giving all the Taylor feels. Talk to me about what made you take such a different approach with the costume designs for Jeffrey throughout the series.
Yeah, he's such a quintessential gentleman, and I wanted to make sure I brought in that UK, that European feel and swag that he does have, keeping him elegant, but also he's in charge as well. He has an individual persona to him that I wanted to make sure I captured, keeping him really masculine, but that detailed, quintessential man that we all love and want to see. And I want to make sure I stay true to that, who he was.
Absolutely. I would absolutely love to hear. Let's talk about your perspective on black culture, fashion, and the different ways that you, as a costume designer, you bring it forth on the big screen. How do you intermix the two?
It was so important to me that I use black designers for this show, with this black family who is so influential, and make sure that people saw us in different lights and how everyone is so different, and to make sure that culture was our #1 play, and just bringing designers from all around the world, from Ghana, from Kenya, Nigeria, UK. I use designers from everywhere, and I wanted to make sure everyone had a platform that we had never seen before, and make it different and make it my own.
So talk to me a little bit about being a costume designer in Hollywood as a black woman. What are some of the struggles and challenges that you face that clearly you have overcome as a costume designer in Hollywood as a black woman?
Yeah, as a black woman costume designer, it has its challenges. The biggest thing I want to say is just feeling seen and feeling heard and having a seat at the table, having ideas that are strong and being able to present them to the masses and make sure people are receiving you in the way that doesn't feel unheard or unseen. So the biggest challenge is to feel seen and to feel heard. And once I was given an opportunity, I'm so humbled by it all. And having people like Ruth Carter to pave the way for us, and young designers like myself, I'm so excited that people actually saw this and saw my worth and saw my voice and see the love in this show. So that's really, I'm happy about that.
am obsessed with every single last look throughout the entire series. I definitely want at least 2 to 3 or 10 of Hillary fashion choices. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations on everything. Congratulations. Thank you. You heard it, turning water into wine.
Well, you know, how could you not? You know, you got to celebrate. Life is a blessing, and you know, this is a moment that you know, is something you dream of. Being here at the FYC on a show that has been so well received. You know, the platform that we've been given. This is, you know, the young boy in me. You know, he's just doing the just backflips like Cuba Gooding Jr. when he won his Oscar for Jerry Maguire. How he just flipped out. I just feel like that right now because this has always been a dream of mine, to be a part of a show that's so forward thinking, that's so progressive, and that's just so in tune with the culture and with the community and just with the current temperatures we're living in, you know, and addressing so many important issues like mental health and identity and just, you know, the list goes on. And the platform, or the runway is so long. So I can't wait for season 3 and what Carla Waddles and Morgan Cooper, you know, I know they got something cooking, you know, yeah. So we're in good hands.
Just in case you have no idea who is standing before me, which I am so certain you do, this is the new modern day Philip Banks in the Bel-Air series on Peacock. Adrian, talk to me about how this role came about for you. I'm very interested to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like other roles. My team called me and said, you know, you have an audition for the new Bel-Air series, the reimagining of Bel-Air. And I had seen the trailer on YouTube that Morgan Cooper had made. And when I saw it, I thought, oh, this is really smart. I can't wait to watch this when it comes out. I didn't realize that it was an actual trailer to be pitched. I thought it was an actual show that was about to come out. And I was like, oh, this will be interesting. This is a great concept, because the original show had very important topics that it dealt with. But they colored it with comedy, you know. They approached it and explored it through comedy and laughter. But there was always, they left you with something to think about, you know. So I thought having a 1 hour drama, having that extra half an hour to, you know, explore and peel back the layers of the onion is just perfect. So for me, going back to your question, sorry I went off, digressed there. Yeah, my agent told me to audition for Philip Banks. I was like, Philip Banks? Okay. I was thinking of James Avery, and I'm like, okay, but this is 2021 at the time. And I was like, okay, I guess they're going in a different direction. And it's more about just the energy and the essence. They're not thinking about the physicality. He doesn't have to be, because he was what, 6'3" or 6'4", 300 something pounds? That's a big man. So I just had to try and bring that from the inside. And thank you so much.
Which actually leads me to my next question. You did an outstanding job playing a modern day Phil. You know, this extremely successful, you know, black man, this strong father figure, supportive uncle, loving husband, all the things. How does that translate into who Adrian is as a man in real life?
Wow, that's great. Well, he has so many great values and principles, and I think I own that. I can identify with Phil because I've been surrounded by so many great men in my life. You know, my uncles, my Uncle Hendy, my Uncle Merv, my Uncle Nev, you know, I have so many great role models and friends as well that have really instilled in me, you know, just great values. And I'm a God-fearing man as well, you know. So playing him has just kind of reinforced a lot of those qualities, and I've been able to bring those to him, and with the writing and the script, you know, it's just kind of reinforced it in me, and it's just been a give and take, you know. So again, it's just been a true blessing and an honor, because you know, I'm not a father, you know, but I have a beautiful family, you know, on screen that I love dearly, you know. Akira, Coco, and Olly are just incredible and beautiful souls, and Cassandra, you know, we've worked together on a couple projects prior to this, so this isn't our first rodeo. So it was nice to be a part of something on such a grand scale, and have someone to play with, to work with, that you're familiar with, that you know.
Have you played with Cassandra in other projects to this extent, with her being your wife and the mother of your children?
Okay, well, true story. I did a pilot just before I did Bel-Air called At That Age, and we shot it in New York. Malcolm D. Lee directed it, and Cassandra played my love interest. Well, she was my mistress. I was married to Nicole R.A. Parker. Nicole R.A. Parker played my wife, and there was some trouble at home in Paradise, and I had a little side piece, and that was Cassandra's character, and she would always say, I shouldn't be a mistress, I should be a wife. And she was saying that with so much conviction, and I was like, well, let's speak it into existence. And then 2 months later, here we are. The universe listens. Careful what you ask for, and it's been a beautiful thing.
Before I let you go, Adrian, you have to tell me, what can the viewers who have yet to tap into the series, what is it that they can expect to see between you and Doc, right? Because the dynamic of that relationship was a little
Yeah.
What can they expect to see with that relationship, you and Doc? Yes.
Season 2?
Yes.
Well, Philip is a man who can he can smell energy, and he knows if something's a little off. And he knew that there was that Doc had an agenda. And he didn't know exactly if it was for good or evil, but he sensed that it wasn't the most positive energy. So he was trying to protect Will, and so there's a bit of a tug of war. Will's in the middle, and Phil and Doc are kind of pulling at both of his arms. I use the analogy of Star Wars as Doc is like the Emperor, and Will is Anakin Skywalker, and I'm Obi-Wan, and we're both trying to I'm like, I believe in him. He's supposed to bring balance to the Force and everything, and Doc's trying to take him another way. But I love how they have spun it. Like, when you watch it, you'll see, you feel a certain way, but it goes in another direction that makes you just go, oh, you can't judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean? A lot of us get a lot of feelings, and we get very judgy. But we can't judge everybody. I always say, just handle people with grace and let them, dig their own grave. Don't judge them too early, but you can protect yourself. Have that air of caution. So, but it's great. Shout out to Brooklyn, who played Doc as well. He was amazing, and we had a lot of fun working together. Yeah.
I am going to leave you on that note, Adrian. Such a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations on everything. Thank you.